Hi guys, I got cut off there by a phone call. I'm going to continue reading. He wanted to tell the class that this summer he sailed the Atlantic with just my dog, Turtle, and my friend Jimmy Fargo. Oh sure, we had some rough times, but we made it across. Except that Alex was sitting right there and he knew the truth. There were 3 new kids in our class. I was the only one from New York. Another boy, Harvey, was from Pennsylvania, and a girl, Martha, was from Minnesota. Mr. Bogner told us about some of the projects we'd be working on during the year, like building a Viking ship and studying our home state of New Jersey. I wanted to tell him that it wasn't my home state. It never would be. But before I had a chance, Martha said, "Excuse me, Mr. Bogner, my home state is Minnesota. So I will be studying that, while the rest of the class does New Jersey." "No, Martha," Mr. Bogner said. "As long as you're living here, you can consider New Jersey your home state." "But Mr. Bogner," Martha said. "Why don't you see me after class?" Mr. Bogner said. And he didn't sound angry or anything. Later I found out the girl who was sitting next to me, the tall girl with tangled hair, is named Joanne McFadden. I was going to ask her where she lived when a message came over the intercom. "Good morning, Mr. Bogner. Would you send Peter Hatcher to the Mr. Green's office, please?" "Right away," Mr. Bogner answered. "Thank you." Mr. Green was the principal. "What did he want with me?" Joanne McFadden whispered. "What did you do?" "I don't know," I said, feeling my face turn red. "Do you know where Mr. Green's office is?" Mr. Bogner asked. "I'll find it," I said. "Don't look so worried, Peter," Mr. Bogner said. "You can't be in that much trouble. It's only the first day of school." The whole class laughed except Joanne McFadden. She just gave me a kind, shy smile. That probably had something to do with registration, I thought. On my way to the office, I'll bet my mother didn't fill out a part of the registration card about who to call in case of an emergency if the parents aren't available. She forgets that almost every year. Or maybe the principal likes to introduce himself personally to all the new students. But then why wouldn't he have asked for Harvey too, and Martha from Minnesota? Because he calls them to his office in alphabetical order, I told myself, not knowing either of Harvey or Martha's last names. And if he started with the A's early this morning, he'd probably be up to the H's by now. Yes, that made sense. I found Mr. Green's office. "I'm Peter Hatcher," I told the secretary. "Go right in," she said. "He's expecting you." "You wanted to meet me?" I said to Mr. Green. See me?" "Hello, Peter." Mr. Green looked something like my uncle. My uncle is clean-shaven, and Mr. Green had a mustache. Now that my father is growing a beard, I'm more aware of these things. "We're having a bit of trouble with your brother," Mr. Green said. "Oh, so that's what it was. I should have known. We've tried to get your mother or father on the phone, but there's no answer, so we were hoping you would be willing to help us." "What did he do this time?" I asked. "A number of things," Mr. Green said. "Come on. Come down to the kindergarten, I'll show you." We walked down the hall together. All the kindergarten babies were busy, but some were building with blocks, others were painting, and a group were playing house in the corner. It was just the way I remembered kindergarten, but I didn't see Fudge anywhere. "Oh, Mr. Green," Mrs. Hildebrand said, limping towards us. "I'm so glad you're here. I can't do anything with him. He still refuses to come down." I looked up, and Fudge was perched on top of the cabinets that were on top of the cubbies. He was stretched out, laying across on top, just inches from the ceiling. "Hi, Peta," he called, waving. "What are you doing up there?" I said. "Resting. Come down." "No, I don't like this school. I quit." "You can't quit," Mr. Green said. "Why not?" Fudge asked. Because going to school is your job," Mr. Green said. "Otherwise, what will you do when you grow up?" "A bird," Fudge told him. Mr. Green laughed. Creative, isn't he? And I'm going to have to stop right there, and we'll see what Fudge is doing tomorrow. Bye, guys.